By our main channel sponsor, My Business Group, a group of brands designed to support owners, leaders and managers in business. If you're looking to grow your business, contact mybusinessgroup.co.uk today for more information or follow the link in the description below. And as this is hot off the presser, we're proudly sponsored by High Point Access Limited, your number one-stop shop for all your working at heights and roofing needs. Find their details in all the links below. Thank you to High Point Access for your continued support of the Blades Ramble.
Like and subscribe to Blades Ramble.
What is that? Oh no! What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and this is hot off the presser. I was just giggling to myself, not only because I forgot to turn the lights on, but because I saw our friend in that celebration where Wilder's up on the steps after promotion. John Lundstrom's behind him, giving it some. Go on, Chrissy Wilder. Good old John Lundstrom. We love John Lundstrom, don't we? Hope you're all good. I'm a little bit under weather today. I'll be honest. I'm feeling a little bit ropey. But, you know, real heroes don't wear capes. So I'm here to tell you all about Chrissy Wilder's pre-match press conference for Watford versus Sheffield United. So the Blades are bouncing into this after a dominant victory over Hull City. We're not. We've just beat Hull last time out. Really good victory for Sheffield United. And this one more a little bit, as you'd expect at this stage of the season where we haven't got anything to play for. It's more about, really, what your plans are going forward, which I think is what we're all interested in. So let's get into it. We're not here for a long time today, not only because I'm feeling a little bit ropey, but also because it were a quick press conference. I think he only went just over 20 minutes, which is unlike Chrissy. But again, straight down to business. Let's get down to business. So let's do exactly the same. So Radio Sheffield starts off. It Randy Giddins today, as usual. Radio Sheffield start the pressers, and then they pass over to the Sheffield Star with Danny Hall. And it Randy Giddins representing Radio Sheffield today. And again, this is an AI transcript, but our great friends Gaz from BizIQ have been refining this for us. So I'm not expecting many errors. We'll have to wait and see whether that comes into it or not. The first question was Tom Davies is the news that he's leaving at the end of the season, and he asks Chris on his reflections on his time here. We will be, spoiler alert, before I even get to Chris's first answer, we will be doing a stream tonight at 6 o'clock regarding Tom Davies leaving the football club and Gyro potentially staying, because it's starting now, isn't it? We're starting to shape the squad for next season. So, yeah, first question was Tom Davies leaving at the end of the season. Chris, what's your reflections on his time here? He says it's a huge frustration, both for Tom and myself, regarding his availability. I've got a lot of time for him as a person, and we're really looking forward to working with him when I came back. You've seen glimpses of it. He's played at the highest level, but it's been really unfortunate with injuries. He'd come back, then something else would happen. We'd have loved to work with him for longer if his availability was better. But we have to make those decisions at the moment with the football club. We're going to run with a tighter group next year, 22 or 23 players, and everyone has to be available. I wish him the best. He deserves some luck. I think that brilliantly, in that short snippet there, sums up exactly how the majority of Blades fans feel about Tom Davies. Very good footballer. Some range from okay footballer to very, very good footballer. I know Dave the Nose thinks he's one of our best, if not the best midfielder at the football club when he's firing all cylinders. But he has drained the club of finances due to his availability, or lack thereof availability. Everybody feels that I speak to feels collectively really sorry for him. It's just a really frustrating is the word to sum it up, both for the player, the manager, the club, the fans, everything. Is everyone okay after Hull City? Wilder went on to Andy went on to ask Wilder. He says, yeah, everyone's come through okay. Calvin Phillips had previously been a maybe, and when he's still battling on, that's testament to his desire. He's in every day. He's involved. He wants to get back on the pitch before the end of the season. We're hearing little snippets about Calvin Phillips. More on that probably tonight on our stream tonight. Andy asks, Mark McGuinness has come back into the team. Are you thinking longer term here in terms of you talking about the squad for next season? Is it because McGuinness is going to be here next season? And he said, he's there on merit. He came into the team because we needed to change things, and he's done well. You look at the second half against Bristol City, and again at the weekend, he's got a good personality, he's a good character, and he's under contract. So yeah, he's part of things, and he'll be part of things going forward. A really interesting question from Andy, which I thought was quite revealing, was could some, in terms of the outs that you're talking about, is there a possibility that some players could be paid off and have their contracts paid up? Because something we speculated on as fans is it's going to be quite difficult to get some of these players out. And he says, yeah, there'll be financial decisions. Every situation is different. He went straight to Gus and Ty when they were talking about players leaving the football club. I don't know whether that was subconscious, but Andy later corrected his initial question and said, I wasn't actually talking about big ticket players like Gus and Tyrese. But Wilder said, we're talking to Gus and Tyrese and their agents. Do they want to be a part of this? That's the question. If not, we'll try and facilitate moves, but we won't get mugged off with low offers. So if there's no offers for them, they'll be staying. That, to me, and this is my interpretation of it, neither player certainly has agreed anything yet. He said, Wilder says they're still talking to him. Are those conversations positive? Andy's next question was, he says, we're talking. Gus is playing well, arguably our best player since I came back. He's an asset, one of the best in the Championship, but he has to decide his future. Tyrese was outstanding last year, but hasn't hit those levels this season. Nowhere near. I still believe there's a player in there. The question is, do you want to be part of the journey? I think it's quite cut and dry from Chris, as you'd expect. This is the impression I have of him as a leader at the football club. No nonsense. Just, look, Gus Hamer's our best player, but if you don't want to be here, then we'll move on without him. Tyrese Campbell, you've got a year left. Do you want to be on the journey with us or not? Because if not, we'll facilitate a move for you. But then if we don't get the offer that we want, then you stay in. So it's how I want us to be managed. People have different questions about tactics and things like that, but you've got to have clarity on where you're going as a football club, and this is exactly what we need, isn't it? What are you expecting from Watford? Says Andy. I was only there 10 games. He says it's my old club, but I were only there 10 games. It was a great experience. They've got extremely talented players. They've been inconsistent for a few years, mid-table finishers, but on the day they can hurt you. They'll want a strong finish just like us. I agree. And we talked about this on Countdown to Kickoff, myself and Lee, last night. They're one of those teams, a little bit like QPR. You look at the QPR side, they've got Chair, they've got Madsen, they've got players that can hurt you, Kone, Dunn. A lot of us like Dunn, don't we, Jimmy Dunn? But there's a difference between some of their top starters and some of their the talent is quite. There's quite a gulf between their top starter and their bottom level starter. They've got some weaknesses in their team where they rely on maybe one or two individuals. Certainly, Watford are in that category for me. I think they've got a couple of players that can hurt you, but then they've got some really strong players like Czech Vitadze, who's off the boil slightly, but we know can hurt you on the day. Imran Loser, who I cannot speak highly enough of, as you all know by now. But then there's also some links that you think, oh, actually, maybe downsides we can get at him. Talked about that on Combo with Cal Fowler. There's a few little bits where there's some chinks in their armour as well. So a very inconsistent side. You don't know what Watford's going to turn up. And that's been them, as Wilder's just said there, that's been them since dawn of time, certainly that I can remember for the last 5 years or so. You spoke about personality before, Hull, says Andy. Did you see that response? This might have been Danny Hall, actually. It doesn't tell you when it passes over. But he says, yeah, we need to see more experience in the building. The owners know it. Steve Bettis knows it. You look at the Hull team. McBurney, Lundstrom, Matt Crooks, John Egan. They've got know-how. Their average age is about 28, 29. Ours is around 23, and we need to balance that out. We've got young players, Cooper, Sariki, Harrison, Blaster, Brooks, Peck. But we don't need more youth. What we need is experience, characters, and players who can deal with big moments. He talked about being streetwise and things like that. And he says, so don't expect us to be going for younger players. He talked about Joe Rothwell coming in, which he thought was an important signing to make. That's really interesting. That sort of steers us towards what he'll be looking at in the transfer window. You're looking at more experienced pros. That doesn't necessarily mean age-wise. I think, again, we're going to use the same example that we do. But Harry Souttar, I think he's 25, 26. He's had a serious injury. I'm not using it for that, saying it for that reason as him as a signing. But he would be classed as a seasoned professional. Because if he was fit and firing, he comes into the team. He's only 26, 27, but he's got significant experience both in the Premier League and at Championship level. So it's those sort of players, like a Joe Rothwell. That's why he's brought Joe Rothwell in, to sort of up the experience and the nous within the squad, which makes sense. How important is it to bring players in who can handle the pressure here, says Danny. He says it's massive, the expectation at this club, we've created that. And if you don't win for 6 games, the shirt gets very heavy. You need big personalities. I try and take the pressure off them, but they have to deal with it. You try and take the pressure off some of them. I could tell you some players that you call out a lot, but that's by the by. We're not just padding the squad. We're bringing in players to start, to compete, to win. Look at Millwall. They enjoyed the suffering. They grind out results. So what he's saying is, when it gets uncomfortable in games, you've got to thrive on that. You've got to excel in those moments. We haven't been doing that. We've started to crumble, which isn't what we're about. He says that's been our soft spot. We've been soft in big moments, which is really hard to hear. But let's be right. It's true, isn't it? It's true. We have, and that the big moments is last season. The big moments went for us. And maybe that, whether you think that's a character thing, whether you think that's a resilience, or whether you think that's a bit of luck, or everything all meshed into one, this season we haven't had it. Whether it be luck or character or personality or leadership, we haven't had that. And the big moments have gone against us much more often than not. You mentioned the refereeing after Hull. Do you still feel hard done by this season, says Danny. He says, yeah, over the season, we're still massively on a deficit with decisions. We might have got one on Saturday, which is obviously the penalty. But overall, we've had too many go against us. So, yeah, managers often think it evens itself out. He's obviously conceding that it were a soft one that we got. A lot of people saying it was a soft penalty. But ultimately, we've not had a lot of decisions ourselves this season. I think Hull fans in the cold light of day would understand that. It's never nice when a decision like that goes against you, and it's changed the whole game. Are you excited about the rebuild now? Danny says, I know you'd much rather be up in where Millwall and Ipswich and the rest of them are, but is there an excitement around this rebuild job that you've got on your hands? And he says, always. I'm always excited about working for this football club, but it's been painful. The job was bigger than I expected when I came in. Mentally, especially after those first 5 games. We've had to feel that pain and learn from it. There's been nothing riding on this season for a while, which I don't like. Every other season here, there's been something at stake. We need to get back to that, restore the results, and restore the standards. Completely agree. How important is it to resolve the remaining uncertain futures quickly? Because Danny sort of said you've touched on some of the players, but how important is it to get those done and dusted and out of the way, and some decisions made? He said, yeah, very. I've told the players. And he went back to Gus and Tyrese. If you're in, you're all in. We're going back. We go into an all-in mentality. And if players aren't all in, then they won't be included. Once the final whistle goes at Derby, we reset. There'll be rest, then work through the summer. And when they come back in June, they need to be ready and committed. We need everyone pulling in the same direction. Chrissy Wilder, ladies and gents. I know not everybody I think it's acknowledged that he's a very good speaker. He motivates certainly some of the fans, myself being a primary example, but that's inspirational to some players, I would say. So again, it's done a bit of a summary for us. So the squad overhaul has been confirmed. We're targeting a squad size of 22 to 23 players, fewer signings but higher quality and more availability. He had a strong criticism of our mentality, saying that we're soft and unbelievably soft in big moments. That were a quote. There's an experience gap that he's highlighted, comparing it directly to Hull and Millwall and other successful sides this season. Hamer and Campbell's futures have been under the spotlight today. The club is open to sales, but will not undervalue our players. A cultural reset is coming. It's an all-in mentality, a message that he repeated several times. There's a clear recruitment direction as well. no more young players. Focus shifts to experience and resilient profiles. There's an emotional reference to the past away win at Watford, it says here, which is used as a benchmark for effort and character. But I think that sums it up really well. I think it were another really strong press conference from Wilder. It's not always a rallying cry, but it's what us fans need to hear. We often sort of express concerns about not being involved in club communications, and when we are fractured as a club, and particularly when things are going wrong on the pitch like they are at the moment, the thing we need to be is informed and kept informed and updated on what's going on, and given an insight into how not only the manager's feeling but how the vibes are around the football club. And these press conferences for me do that. They give us an insight into how the atmosphere is, or how the atmosphere is trying to be shaped. I appreciate it won't be a really super positive atmosphere at the moment, but he knows, Wilder knows how the fan base feel in terms of it's not been good enough this season, and he doesn't shy away from that. He's not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. And that is, to me, knowing that the club are aware of how we feel, or the majority of fans feel, then I think it sort of keeps us engaged and keeps us sort of saying, okay, well, they know what the issue is. Let's see if they can get on top of it. And again, I don't think there's a better man to lead us forward. So let's get into your comments before we wrap up today. Batman Lou starts us off. Afternoon, Jim. I'll be catching up with the presser via this stream. Top man. Bust afternoon. Oh. I hope you mean busy afternoon. Hope you're well, my mate. Imagine Chris will have been feeling more upbeat after the Hull win and Gyro being extended. Up the Ramble, up the Blades, like and subscribe. So, unless you've heard different, Lou, I've seen no official announcement yet that Gyro has been extended. The club have the option. Danny Hall was the first I saw to report that the club will be extending Gyro's option, which is something we're going to discuss tonight at 6 o'clock live on the Ramble. But I've not seen it officially unveiled anywhere yet. It may be online now, which would be great, but we'll still cover it tonight. All the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe. And Free Shot says, I love mine. Just for you, Free Shots. Do you want your favourite replica shirts for the World Cup? Check out okjersey.com. It's high quality jerseys starting from just £15. I love mine. From modern day shirts to the old classics that we all love. Use the code RAMBLE at the checkout to get 8% off your order. Get ready for the World Cup in style. And thank you to OK Jersey for their support of the Ramble. I love mine. There you go, Free Shots. Hope you're well with that. Afternoon, Jimmy. Hope you're well, says Dawn. I'm very well, thank you. Hope you are too. David Vinter says, I can't wait to get to Watford. Hopefully keep up the positivity to end the season. 4-4-2 for me. But I don't expect to see it up the Blades, up all the Rambles. I don't expect to see it either. Myself and Lee have done our teams from countdown to kickoff. If you're interested in seeing those, let us know. We've also done the predicted lineup like we usually do. So, yes, that's the situation for us. I think it'll be 4-2-3-1 again. Lee's actually hoping that he goes for more of a stodgy midfield. He wanted Gyro, Peck and Rothwell in, with O'Hare taking a break. Free Shot says, thoughts on Arblaster having a kid with Wilder's daughter? Well, it's long been known, I think, hasn't it, that Ollie and Martha have been dating. So it's not a shock that things are moving. I'm delighted for them, to be honest. I know you're laughing here, but I think it's brilliant if that's what they want to do. I mean, there's jokes going around about him being Triple H, and for the wrestling fans amongst you from way back when, you'll probably get that reference, but. Yeah, it's been quite. Look, if he's brave enough to date the manager's daughter, it must be something really serious. Because if he's brave enough to do that, he knows the risk he's taking. Firstly, I wouldn't want to upset Chrissy Wilder, because I think we've all seen there's another side to him. But again, you can't help. You can't help who you end up with, can you? Or you know, more power to him is what I would say, and I'm delighted for him. It's brilliant news that, from a granddad's point of view, it's probably what we'd say. But yeah, more power to him. I've heard there's been some some rubbish sort of spouted online and stuff like that, probably on X. But unfortunately, that's the world we live in now. And if you can avoid that sort of talk, I would encourage you to do so. But yeah, just fair play to them and congratulations again. Thom says, afternoon, pal. Looking forward to going down to Watford on Saturday. Should be an interesting game. How are we doing today, pal? Out of 10. Mood-wise, I am around a 7 today. But again, I'm a little bit. I'm not 100%. Like, I'm a bit under weather, I think. So I'll probably level out about a 6. I would say maybe a 5.5. Hope you're well, mate. How are you out of 10 as well? That's a good question to be asking. Afternoon. Jimmy says, Adam, hope you're good. First presser over. Got to watch you live from probably my favourite to watch other than your live streams. Get well soon, pal. Up the blades, up all the rambles. Thank you, my mate. And give me Hamza instead of Suter 100%. Yeah, I think don't be surprised if we're interested in one or both of those players. Certainly if Leicester go down. I agree about Davies. I've seen him play some class football, but it's been way too much contribution to games, which is a shame. Really, because if he was fit for the majority of the season, I'd have kept him. I know what you mean. It's been a lack of contribution, hasn't it, due to his lack of availability. Tim sort of echoes that. He says, I'm really sad about Tom Davies. I think he's a great player. If only he could stay fit, just as everyone says. Absolutely right. Such a shame. And, you hope that he can sort of, you'd hope at this stage he's starting to navigate his vulnerabilities in his body and he can, it might just be, you hear stories about players like Ledley King and before that, what's his name? That centre-half that played for United, played for Man U for ages as well, and Villa. The absolute Rolls Royce of a centre-half. You hear about some players that have to manage themselves really carefully and wrap themselves in cotton wool just to be able to play. Even if he has to do that to extend his career. It's such a short career, but he's a very talented player. So, yeah, absolutely right. Kelly says, hi, Jimmy. Hope you're well and your family. What's your predictions for Saturday? Sad for Tom Davies leaving this summer. He's been a great player. Up the blades, up the ramble. Like and subscribe. Let's get this superb channel. You usually say to 12k, but I'll take it. That's been cut off that bit, Kel, but thank you for that. Adam, that's what you meant. And Thom says, probably about an 8 myself today. Got plenty of work done. Off golfing after work. And I went out for my sister's 18th last night for a lovely meal with all the family. Feeling very grateful at the minute. Mate, I love that. Thank you for sharing the positivity. Glad you're feeling so good. And it's good to have you. Thank you, Skyblade. Paul McGrath. Of course it was. That was the example I was going for. Maybe Tom Davies is one of those, unfortunately, quite brittle players that just needs to look after himself. And again, we'll talk about it more tonight. I'm going to wrap up there because that's Wilder's Presser done and dusted. We will be back tonight at 6 o'clock live on the Blades Ramble to talk about the departure of Tom Davies, the pending departure of Tom Davies, and the heavily rumoured extension to Jairo Riedeveld. This is the start of our summer. This is the season hasn't ended yet, but plans are already rolling, which is great to know. And it's exciting, isn't it? Loads of content planned for the summer, but we'll see you first and foremost tonight. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. Up the blades!